right down the corner.
Whoa, quick one.
Give me someone good here.
What'd you say?
Oh, there it is.
What'd you say? Dude.
That's censored.
It's fine. I can bleep out whatever I want. I'm gonna blur your face out right now. Ready? Blurred.
It's cramping.
Here we go.
Dude.
What are we doing?
Dude, the jaw's locking. I got a dog and I'm a pit bull. I got a lockjaw.
How we doing, folks? Blake.
Hunter.
Look at that. We brought him out, finally. Been years. Hunter, got anything to say real quick? We're getting the video. Anything to say? Today we're going to be reviewing the CEO 3. We already tried doing this video last week. Problem was, we expected the 3 to break in just as fast as the 2. We were very wrong. It takes way longer to break in the 3 than the 2. I'll get into the details at the end of this video, talking about the durability that we found with the CEO 3, yada yada. I figured we'd do some sort of GoPro video to show how this head looks while performing against its previous version, the 2. So this is what it looks like, broken in. We've been beating the crap out of it. Give them a profile in front of it. There we go. Yep.
Take a good look at that.
It's pretty broken in. This is the 2 we were using last week. So imagine this going against something that's not nearly as beat up as that. It just wasn't fair. We weren't given a fair review of the 3. But now that's really broken in, we can really see how this thing flexes and warps around the ball with some miles on it. That's what we're doing here today. We're gonna put it to the test with some live reps. It's currently like 93 degrees down here in Florida. We gotta knock the dust off us. It's been a while since we faced off. So yeah, this should be fun, interesting. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Hunter, any closing thoughts before we get into it?
Oh, it's getting ready.
All right, that's it.
Let's
Waiting on you. Oh, I should have brought more tape for this.
go. Oh my god! Oh! Weight room! I almost weight roomed you there.
Set.
Oh man!
Set. Down. Set.
Oh my god, I hammered that whistle too.
Little boy.
Set.
Dude! There we go. I'll get you. I'll get you right here.
Set.
Ow!
Take him down.
This is when face-offs for fun.
I know. Well, you can shoot it like that too.
Down. Set.
Now listen here, fellas.
Don't throw the left.
See where he's at?
Do not throw that left.
See where he's at? And there it is.
You put it right in my stick for me. See?
Ooh! You hear that click?
Set.
Dude.
Down. Set.
Oh, good
Oh.
clamp.
Set.
Nice.
Set.
God.
Down. Set.
Nice.
Set. Down. Set.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
Set.
Oh, I'm in there.
Like swimwear. Oh.
Alright, we have reached halftime. I just got done using this, the 3. Looks pretty good. Now I'll be using the 2. Work.
Down. Set.
Oh my god!
Set.
Yep.
Oh, I'm slipping.
That's what I thought.
Down. Set.
What the I changed a little mechanics here.
Set.
That's why you suck.
Set.
Who sucks? Oh my gosh. I actually torched you.
Down. Set.
Did we both just go early?
No, I think we knew that one. That's mine. That's mine. Oh my gosh.
Down. Set.
Okay, I was completely under you there.
I need to come out of retirement.
Completely smoked you.
Set.
See yo!
Set. Set.
Oh, you...
Set.
There it is.
Set.
That's mine all day. Nope. Where are you going?
Set.
Yep. I actually just sliced my finger open doing that.
Set. Set.
Uh-oh. I gotta go around the camera here.
Set.
Ah!
Dude, look, I'm actually bleeding through my glove.
Take the glove off. Yeah.
Focus. Look at that.
Set.
Okay, okay, I'm in there. Completely under you.
That's another goal. Oh, it's all over the head.
Blood.
Blood, sweat, and tears.
Down. Set.
You gotta stay heavy with the left hand. Get up high in the air. Oh no!
Down. Set.
Thank you. All day, every day.
Set.
There it is. Thank you too.
Thank you for finally giving me a rest here.
Set.
Yeah, you got me there. All day. This thing is folding. Well, no, we're here, Hunter. Okay, we just got done doing our GoPro session with the Nike CEO3 and the 2. There was a lot to unravel with how these heads performed, what we liked about it, what we didn't like about it. But before I get into that, I know in the last video I talked about how we didn't want to do these kinds of videos anymore. We wanted to take a step back and just go down a different path with the lacrosse community, specifically the face-offs, and focus more on sports technology. We felt like we were kind of leaving you guys hanging if we did that, and this is exactly what sports technology is. You know, the R&D that goes in these heads, how they perform against each other, the people that use them, the techniques that are needed to use these heads to their fullest advantages. That's part of sports tech, and it's something that I like to do a lot was the GoPro videos and reviewing products like this. So we don't really have a set schedule on what we're going to do as far as reviews, but we figured we use this head first because it's the most recently released head out there. There hasn't been a lot of heads that have been released since our disappearance. So this one just felt the most right because we were original CEO guys to begin with. So the 3 was very exciting news for us when we found out it was coming out. All right, so let's get into the beef, the meat. You like meat, Hunter, don't you? You love meat. We're gonna get into how this head performed out there. So what do we expect to be different about this head compared to the 2? Aside from the known aesthetics of the scoop's a little different, the throat's a little shorter and straight across. The main feature that's different in this head compared to the 2 is the new type of plastic they've used. It's a more durable version. It's meant to last longer. With that being said, here's another layer to this. This is why I really enjoy talking about the CEO. The CEO has a yin-yang relationship with feel and durability. The CEO became famous and popular because of how well it wrapped around the ball. The byproduct of that is it doesn't last that long. And people were willing to make that sacrifice of, okay, I gotta replace this head every month, every 2 months, every 3 months if I'm lucky. But that's okay because this head feels so good to use. Nike decided just to make a more durable version to kind of fix that issue of, okay, the CEO doesn't last that long, but we want to make it last a little bit longer without jeopardizing the feel of the head. But we know with the history of a lot of these companies, once they mess around with the plastic, it makes an entirely different head. It feels way different. Perfect example is the STX Dual, the OG, and the STX Reflex, Dual Reflex. It's the exact same head, The only difference is they made a stiffer, more durable plastic in the OG mold for the Reflex. People really didn't like the feel of the Reflex. It was way too stiff. So Nike comes out and says, we're gonna make a third version of the CEO, make it more durable. Everyone's like, pump the brakes. We just saw what happened with STX. Is this gonna be the same thing where the CEO 3 is gonna be way too durable? It ruins the feel of the head. So we went into this video expecting that to be the case. Did we necessarily still have that thought? I don't think so. I think the biggest thing that stood out with us is this thing is incredibly durable. And Hunter, do you think that this is one of the most durable heads out there on the market?
Yeah, it took forever to break in. It just stayed its shape, and we had to put it through some rigorous things in order to get it to flex how we wanted it to.
Yeah, and that reminds me, I totally forgot to mention this. We already did a review video on this head, but the problem was we didn't give it enough time to break in. We do that with all these heads, is we give them enough time to break in to then give them a fair review. Because no one expects to pick this head up right off the shelf, string it up and play with it the next day. All heads need to be broken in. The problem was this thing took way longer than any other head to break in, but we gave it the same time frame that we did with all the other heads that it just wasn't a fair review. It wasn't flexing the way we wanted it to. It was getting smoked by this thing. This thing was just slipping right under. This thing has been through the ringer. Like, unbelievable what we've had to do to it to make it shape like this and then ultimately perform the way we wanted it to perform. Yeah, it's easily the most durable head that Nike's ever made. And I'm gonna put it up there with the 2F and even the Weapon X. I think this is like sitting right below the 2F. It might be battling with the 2F as far as durability goes, especially with a face flexing head. Face flexing heads don't last long by the nature of how they flex. Durability of the head was the number one thing we were worried about. Was, okay, is this gonna perform the way that we expect it to, because that's how CEOs are? Yeah, it did. It definitely did. It still felt like a CEO, just a more durable version. As simple as I can put it, that's exactly what it was. So now let's talk about what we actually liked about this head. One, the durability. I mean, it's crazy. I cannot say this enough. This thing is just extremely durable, but it wasn't durable enough to the point where you couldn't use it as a normal CEO would be used. We like, as CEO guys, we like this twist, where the head twists super easily. It folds and will twist, no problem. And that's what we're expecting our CEOs to do, is kind of take that force from our opponent to fold, and then this bottom half stays strong. We were still able to do that with this head. But in a situation where the CEO2 needed that little bit more stiffness to help us slip under or push our opponent's plastic off, we saw that with this. Like, it was just durable enough to give us that little advantage that a typical stiffer head would have without jeopardizing that front folding feeling that a CEO has.
Yeah, I think with the CO2, I feel like whenever you get in a tie-up or when you go to clamp, if you get that ball above that kink right there, you're screwed. I think with the durability of this, even if you didn't get it, in that sweet spot where it's kinked, you still had a chance to at least put some pressure on the ball, get them off, and slip under. I think that's one of the benefits of it being stiffer. Not always you're going to get a perfect clamp and get it right into the throat, and this was still able to do what it does, even if you didn't get it perfectly.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I almost like to think of it as the energy you can transfer through the plastic can go up higher in this head, similar to how a traditionally flexing head would have the same benefit. With the CEOs, past this kink point, you don't really have control of the plastic. You only have control of the throat. But with a traditionally flexing head that bends left, right, do you mind? Oh, here we go. Like a 2F, most 2F users can understand what I'm saying here, is you have control of this entire plastic because there's no hard kinks that prevent the energy from transferring up. You can see that a lot in this head. Even though it has these kinks like a CEO does, they're not nearly as drastic. And the fact that this plastic's so durable, you can still feel that energy transfer up in the sidewalls beyond these kink points, and be able to apply that pressure higher up the head, like Hunter was saying. The other thing that's kind of obvious, but I think it's a huge point, is this feels like a CEO. And I know that doesn't seem like a lot to ask for, but Hunter just said it off camera, like the more versions you make of the same exact head, you kind of get farther and farther away from what made it good. The OG CEO is still a fantastic head, right? But times have changed, just people don't like using it anymore for some reason. When Nike keeps releasing these generations of CEOs, we're all on our toes like, oh my God, they just ruined it. It's gonna be a terrible head. This still feels like a CEO, so I'm super excited about that. It just performed well. Like the normal angles that I put a CEO on, I was still able to do it with this head. So that was a huge plus for me. Ready to talk about the bad stuff?
Yeah, I'm suing.
Okay, hold on. Let's just talk about going from the top down. So the scoop has been a hot topic recently with all these reviews and people using the CEO3 for the first time going, man, the scoop sucks. Like, that's easy to say when you're not a CEO user. As a CEO guy, if you've been using the CEO from day one, you're used to the scoop. This scoop is no different than the 2 and no different than the OG. So if you're a current CEO guy and you think the scoop has gotten worse, it's not. It's the exact same scoop. If anything, it's going to be easier because the head's not folding on itself because it's more durable. It's going to stay stiff. Now let's get into the fun part that Hunter absolutely loves, and that is this throat. So let's just look at how this throat is designed. It's squared off. It's straight, all on all sides, squared, but there's a huge ledge of plastic that sticks off all around the shaft here, and it's not smooth at all. And we had some guys talk about how it's a very uncomfortable throat. This is not comfortable at all. This thing sucks. This thing hurts so bad. It will cut into your hand. Hunter, go ahead and show them what happened to your hand.
Focus. There we go. Look at that.
Cut them wide open. And I don't know if you can see it on here.
There's blood on there.
There's blood on the bottom of this stick from Hunter. This reminds me of a Command X throat, honestly. Really squared off. And then the 4 screw holes. You want to talk about a gimmick. I love Nike. I love the heads they've made. Fantastic stuff. But there's no need for these 4 screw holes. Okay? It's what are we doing? We prevent a bear attack? Like, this is horrible. This is not needed. 1 screw did just fine. Every face-off guy feels the need to have a short throat. They definitely made it shorter, but at what price? Now it's uncomfortable. This is enough to make you think.
You kind of let up. Like you're like, all right, this next punch, I'm gonna get stabbed again. I mean, it's not fun getting stabbed every rep. I've never had anything there on my finger at all my 15 years of playing.
I'm sure over time it would callus up and you wouldn't notice it, but we're telling you, expect some poking and expect some blood and expect to be rattled mentally going, what the heck? This hurts. Do I think Nike gave us an advantage making the throat shorter, but in return that's going to stab us and make us bleed? I think it's...
Just make sure you take a file or a sander to it. Might help.
We're not, that's illegal. We're not encouraging the modification of heads. Those are the major things we saw different about the head. The main thing was just the durability. It takes a long time to break this thing in. It's a good thing and a bad thing, depending on who you are as a face-off guy, depending on what you like, what you have been using up until the 3 has been released. If you are a current 2F guy, the 2F or any sort of traditionally flexing head, I'll put that at that, but the 2F's the most popular head, so I'm going to refer to it a lot. Any sort of traditionally flexing head is going to require more wrist motion, snapping down off the whistle, where I feel like the CEO doesn't require that as much. You can kind of get away with just punching in with your right hand and picking up with your left.
With the CEO 3, you got to use the head how it is. I mean, it's face flexing. You don't want it to go one way or the other. You want it to face flex. So the only way to do that is lifting up that left hand and just punching straight down.
So if you are a current 2F guy and you are struggling with turnover.
Turnover meaning coming from here to here. If you struggle to get down on the ball.
If you use a traditionally flexing head and you struggle with turnover, this might help. If you are currently using a CEO or a burn, this is a fantastic option. If you're looking for a stiffer version of either of those heads, but still want a face flexing head that feels like a CEO, this is a good option.
In my opinion, I think it all depends on where everyone's at. Here in Florida, like we said, it was 90 degrees out today, and the two just folded. Couldn't hold its shape, and the 3 just blew it off. I mean, it just easily took over. I think it's something you can keep in your arsenal if you're a CEO 2 guy. You know, in my opinion, college level, if I go up north and play somewhere, I'm probably going to use the 2 just because I want something at least a little more flexible in the colder weather. If I come down south, I think the 3 is a very great option just because it's stronger in the hot weather and it doesn't fold as easy. So I think it all depends on where you play at.
Another thing too, this is actually an interesting point that we kind of overlook as older guys. If you are a younger player, I would advise against this head. The time it took to break this thing in and then the strength required during the face-off to get this to flex like a CEO, it takes a lot of strength to do so. We just had to use a little bit more muscle to get it to flex the way we wanted it to, even in this heat. So younger guy, if you're using a burn, using a CEO2, I would say stick with those until you start getting a little older, a little stronger, to the point where these heads aren't providing that backbone anymore, where they're feeling too flexible. Then it's a good option. So college guys or older, this would be a very good option. But if you're a younger guy, I'd probably stay clear of this thing for a couple years until you start getting stronger. I think that's really it. Like who would be the ones that would use this head? Again, if you are a current CEO2 user, OG CEO, burn guy, and you're okay with a more durable option that's going to last you longer because those aren't lasting long. I mean, you want something stiffer, but you don't want to use a 2F because you don't like the 2F. It's not comfortable with you. I know I'm not super comfortable with 2F. This is a great option. And ooh, you ready for this one? I was thinking about this. Do you think this is almost an in-betweener head between the CEO2 and the 2F?
Yeah, definitely.
I know a lot of people are confused on the plastic of how this thing feels. If you throw out the idea that the 2F flexes traditionally and the CEO flexes face flex, if you were to melt down the plastic of the 2F and put it inside a CEO mold, this is what you would get.
Yeah.
That's not wild to say?
No,
right?
that's a good assumption.
Assumption?
Opinion. It's not a
Opinion.
fact.
Yeah. I don't know. There might be some sketchy stuff going on behind closed doors with Nike and String King. Might be working together. I don't know. String King's got some gloves that look very similar to SGX and Nike.
Insider job.
Yeah, I don't know. But I think in a nutshell, to wrap this video up, it feels like the plastic in a 2F in the body of a CEO. Let us know down in the comments what your guys' thoughts are on the CEO 3. It's been out for a while. I hope a lot of people have gotten their hands on it so far. Did you have a fun time doing this video? They bring back old memories? How do you feel getting smoked?
If I had a 5th year, put me back out there,
Top
coach.
of the leaderboards.
I'll work something up, NCAA.
We'll figure it out. All right, guys. Thanks for watching.
See you next time.
Yep, there you go.
There it is.
You ruined it.